let's move ahead to the other story tracking. A day after India has said Washington's call for fairness in legal cases related to opposition parties was unwarranted and unacceptable, the United Nations has now waded into the controversy, saying that the world hopes everyone is able to vote in the country's parliamentary elections in a free and fair atmosphere. I just want to go across to my colleague, our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who's joining us. Abhishek, take us through what the UN is saying. And this time, we have seen that UN has commented on what is happening in India. In the past, we have seen such instances where it has been made very clear that what happens in India is also India's internal affairs.
Well, obviously so, Shivangi, and the fact that this is happening repeatedly, first twice with Germans, then twice with the United States, now with the United Nations. So one is left wondering, is this being done by a certain lobby, keeping a certain objective in mind? Because remember, just a month and a half back when another chief minister was arrested of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, Hemant Soren of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, he resigned and then he was in custody and remains in judicial custody. No hue and cry was made at the United Nations or the United States by the State Department or in Germany by the Foreign Office. So obviously, in the case of Kejriwal, there seems to be some special interest. And it has really come to light that the person who's asking the question of the State Department in Washington, D.C., State Department spokesperson in Washington, D.C., is the same person who is asking same question with the United Nations spokesperson in New York. So obviously, this seems calibrated, motivated, planned, orchestrated. And so apart from whatever reaction we have had from the Minister of External Affairs asking these geographies to these nations to desist from commenting on India on a matter which is absolutely sovereign domain of Indian judiciary and its law enforcement mechanism and agencies, I think there seems to be more than meeting the eye, and which in this case happens to be a lobby and a global one, powerful one at that, who believe that if they can pin India down by questioning our strongest forte, which is the vibrancy of our democracy, I think they intend to achieve that objective of sort of in some ways trying to pull a notch down the perception that India has as a strong, vibrant and deep-rooted democracy, and that seems to be the objective. So obviously it has to be seen in that light. Apart from the reactions that have come in from the Minister of External Affairs, hopefully the government and the agencies would look at the possibility of this having been orchestrated and recalibrate the response accordingly, irrespective of whether we intend to do anything out of our geography. And the comment made by the UN spokesperson also is absolutely uncalled for. But as I said, you have to sort of discount or give allowance for the fact that these are typical bureaucrats, be it in the case of the State Department or the Foreign Office of Germany, or in this case, the United Nations office today. And if a question is thrown at them, then obviously they have to do some defense of it and make a statement of sorts. But the interesting part is the question being asked and the repeated manner in which the same question is asked, the manner in which same person is asking the question, the manner in which it seems like doctored and tutored. So in that sense, I think there seems to be a case of a certain lobby section of people, group perhaps trying to sort of color the perception about India's democracy, taking a subterfuge behind questioning Arvind Kejriwal's arrest.
All right, thank you for joining us. Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor, getting us top updates where the UN has waded into the controversy about when it comes to what is happening in India. They have said that what is happening is unwarranted and unacceptable. Let's go ahead and play out exactly what the UN has said while they're meddling into what is happening in India when it comes to Arvind Kejriwal.
Okay, Mushfiq, I think you have a question online. We'll go there. And then Abdelhamid.
Thank you, Steph. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How do you perceive the political unrest in India just before the national election with the arrest of Delhi's chief minister and the freezing of the opposition Congress party's bank accounts. The right groups described the situation as a crackdown on opposition reaching a crisis point ahead of the national election.
Well, we very much hope that in India and that in any country that is having elections, that everyone's rights are protected, including political and civil rights, and everyone is able to vote in an atmosphere that is free and fair.